from the sixth floor. This Sunday and every Sunday, The Spin is brought to you by our fine sponsors in San Francisco, Grooves Records. Check them out. In the 719, our friends at What's Left Records, the Osco brothers. Don't forget the Soul Shack in San Diego. Absolutely. And the greatest independent record label in the history of independent record labels, Anonymous Collective Records. I'm joined by...
No doubt about it, Rod. Maybe the most important moment for Hamilton season already happened at a downtown hotel while the team was quarantining and doing COVID testing one day before the season
started. Looks like we had a freeze up there. We lost Vinny in the web-sphere there. Oh, Bob, welcome to the show. Yeah, I guess we probably just lost him for a sec. But yeah, so we've got Bob Lee. Bob's been doing music and drumming for a very long time, and played in some of the really cool bands that I enjoy, like Clawhammer and Backbiter, Crawl Space, Mike Watt and the Black Gang. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. I want to start I know that you just played a show last night, so we can start right there. And yeah, how did it go?
So it was great. We decided to do a show for the 30th anniversary of Backbiter. We hadn't done one in a few years, and combined that with, since it's the season, an appearance by Santa Sabbath, which is my holiday-themed cover band where we do Sabbath songs and change the lyrics to be about Santa Claus. And so both of those bands played along with Carnage Asada, longtime friends who I think I saw one of their very first shows at one of the members' house back in about 1992, thereabouts. So it was nice to kind of have a lot of longtime friends and family in one place for a holiday show. And I thought it was terrific. I thought it went really well.
And so Backbiter, 30 years, huh? Wow, that's amazing. And all the guys LA based like you, or?
The Backbiter is a trio, so it's Jonathan Hall, who came from Rhode Island out here. He had a band out there called the Porno Sponges, and moved here with some of those guys, and had been trying to kind of get his California thing going, and at the time I joined, kind of changed name to Backbiter and set that up as a trio with Heath Seifert on bass and myself, and has basically been that band ever since. There's been periods where we had Steve Reed join us as the bass player, and he joined us last night as well. Did one of the songs that he had recorded with us, and also some covers at the end. And then he's back. Good afternoon.
Apologize, guys. Tactical problems with the internet and the 6th floor. We're on our phone.
Yep.
All right.
Can't always rely on technology, but we'll do our best to persevere.
Exactly. Yep. Thanks for joining us, everyone, on The Spin today. We're super excited to have Bob aboard. And Vin, we were just talking about Bob performed with Backbiter last night, 30-year anniversary. So what a milestone for those fellas, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm sorry I missed it. But yeah, I was hoping to lead off with that. Hope everything went well. From what I've heard this morning, you guys killed it. So congratulations.
Thank you for that. We definitely enjoyed playing again, and just kind of having the chance to go through the whole list of material. It's been since 1991 a pretty considerable repertoire built up.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. Yeah, that's a long time. So that was around the same, in the 90? When did you join Clawhammer, Bob?
It was about a year and a half before that. It was spring of 1990.
Okay.
And just trying to get a sense of my timeline after I arrived in LA. I got here in late '88. I almost immediately joined Crawl Space. And that was kind of my entree into the LA scene, where they had posted an ad in the Recycler, and I answered it. They were looking for an active drummer who was looking to play shows, and mentioned that they had vinyl and gigs coming up. Sounded like a promising thing, and that has kind of been my ticket into everything else. Kind of the connections have sprung from that into a number of different things, and things that I've had the opportunity to do ever since then. So that started in late 1988. I think I did my first show in December of '88, and joined Clawhammer in May of 1990. So about a year and a half after that, did my first show with them at Raji's. Then in fall of '91, had left Crawl Space a couple of months prior, and just been doing Clawhammer. And when I ran into Jonathan Hall from Backbiter, as we were heading out, actually heading back from a desert show called the Splattering of the Tribes, at which a couple of thousand people descended out on the mountains somewhere outside of Indio, and ended up getting shut down by the cops and sent home. Probably in many of them in questionable state of preparedness to be going home. But ran into Jonathan at the gas station as we were both making our way out, and mentioned to me that he had a show coming up, and would I maybe be interested in doing something with him. And then that led to a long partnership. We actually did that first show with no band practice with the three of us together. He came over and showed me his songs, and can't even remember if I had a tape. I think we made a tape of him that night as he showed him to me, and I kind of had that for a few days to listen to. And Heath had already been playing him for a little bit, and then so we did that first show without ever. That was like I kind of met Heath as we were on our way up to the stage to get started for that. But hopefully it's that kind of spontaneity and willingness to kind of jump in and do it has been a guiding principle.
That's great. Wow. I like that. Definitely. So where did you move from, Bob? Yeah, I'm curious. If we could just go back a little bit further.
So prior to living in LA, I had grown up in New Jersey, and
Vinny, brethren.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vinny grew up there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereabouts, Bob?
I was in Lawrenceville for a little while, and then Lambertville in my years of high school.
Great neighborhoods. Yeah, so suburbia New Jersey, to say the least. A lot of great music came out of that area. One thing I'm curious about, Bob, musically, who was the first band that really turned you on? And you said, this is really what I want to do.
Well, in terms of that, as far as connecting it to something to myself, it was a New Jersey band called Regressive Aid that really did a lot for me. When I was 15, I was kind of just starting to become aware of punk rock and hardcore, of the American side of that. At the same time, I was becoming aware of King Crimson and Fripp and Eno and the more extreme side of that kind of thing, as just kind of generally becoming aware of that there's other things besides this rock and roll that I could be listening to and getting interested in. And Regressive Aid was a band from fairly near me in Lawrenceville. Maybe they were from considered themselves a Hopewell band or something like that, but they were, Trenton, Princeton, Lawrenceville area. And a trio that played instrumentals extremely fast and intense, complicated parts, and very danceable, but also very noisy and confrontational. Used metal cans as percussion, and did segments where all three of the members were playing percussion, and very intense. And just kind of to have a band that brought all these things together and could appear at my local bar and do this was just kind of astonishing. That not just that there was a band like this, but that they were people like me that I kind of could recognize, and doing something that I could imagine potentially doing if I could get that good. and just having the opportunity to see that and watch them at John and Peter's in New Hope a lot, often from outside the window, just literally outside the building, because I couldn't be in there as a teenager. But if you ordered a plate of nachos, you could sit outside at the patio, and I'd just be like up at the window, kind of peering in at them.
Right.
That was a primal experience for me. Definitely was as a New Jerseyite. Was and Andrew and Sim from Regressive Aid went on to be in Gone and the Rollins Band. Andrew's, I think, still in Ween. And Bill Tucker, the guitar player, was in Pigface, and some of the Chicago, I think, went to Chicago and was involved in the Wax Track scene. But that was a big influence on me, definitely. Just not just musically. I mean, I think I had Rototoms, and at one point got metal cans as a result of seeing Sim. But also just in terms of creating a path that you could kind of do anything you want if you could find people who were like-minded and good enough to do it.
It's a story that never changes, right, Greno?
Great.
East Coast, West Coast, right? It's beautiful to hear, and thanks for sharing that with us, Bob. Now, we've been really lucky this week that you actually brought some new material that you wanted to share with us this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll let you play a track from the project called Lotteria that is about to be released in February on Org Music, and also online by Geza X Records. And that is, if you want, we'll go ahead and play the track and then talk about this. But this is one of 14 bands that was put together specifically for the occasion, and had everybody recording in home studios before having the results compiled by a producer and put out. But this allowed us to kind of do something during lockdown that was something different. That when we couldn't really even do our own bands or have band practice, this gave us something that we potentially could do from home and still have something music to work on, something to concentrate on and be positive about. So this one is a track called Static Memoir, and the band has Jeton Demone from Christian Death, and Woody Applenaup, guitar player who's played with a number of local groups, including Bobby Womack's longtime guitar player, Rich Jones from SSSSS, Danny Magoo, keyboard player who's played with Tom Waits, Social Distortion, among other local groups like Seven Deadly Five, and currently in the Magnet Hearts, and Mark Doughton from Double Knot Spy Car and a number of bands going back to the 80s. We got together to do this in a live version of Lotteria, where I kind of picked random people to be in bands together to put a show together. And then subsequent to that, when we were in lockdown and I'd actually got recording equipment, was what it's inspired me to have the idea to do this with other people. So that's how we got Lotteria, the recording project, together. And so this is the one group that kind of went from one iteration to the other, and we did the home recording version of our track for this. So this is this will be, I think this has been heard on YouTube, but as far as broadcast, this is going to be an exclusive for you guys. This will be the first time most people have heard this.
Lotteria on the Sunday spin. All right, let's get going. We have some fun. All right. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Excellent.
Yeah, while you're queuing that up, I'll mention that Jatan Demone has been a fantastic participant on this. Sings on one of the other tracks as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Really been terrific working with her and getting this project off the ground.
All right, Sunday Spin exclusive with Bob Lee. This is Lotteria with Static Memoir. Wowie. What a tune.
There goes that.
Any? Oh, whoops, hold on. Sorry. Getting ahead of ourselves. All right, Bob. Wow. That was really amazing Sunday.
No, thank you. It's, yeah. That's 6 of us in home studios just working on this track. We actually used our live version of that as kind of the roadmap to record a fresh set of drums. And once we had drums, started sending it out to people to just kind of overlap their part and put it together.
Sounds really good. So that's coming out in February, you said?
That'll be at February 20th on Org Music, God willing. Everything has been kind of up in the air with supply chain issues and whatnot, but we've been told that February, we actually thought we were going to make that date. We're also going to have a record release show on February 20th at the Zebulon with quite a few of the participants of the album will be part of that. I was just talking to Geza X about the first live appearance of Geza X and the Mommy Men in a number of years will be part of that show.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah. Which, you know, he was good enough to be part of this collaboration as well. And we released his first original music since 81, he said.
Wow.
Tremendous. Tremendous.
It's great.
Well, yeah, he's been, you know, very active producer and I think did have some contributions on the Deadbeats album that came out in the 90s. But this will be his first thing under his own name. And it's a good combination of people who have been at it for a long time in this city. Paul Rossler's on it. Mike Watt is on it. And there's people that I've known and had some interaction with, and some that were fairly new to me, but that seemed like they would be good contributors to this. So I'm really excited to see it take root and whatever can come of that in February, and hopefully have the opportunity to do something like this again and connect some people who may or may not know each other, but have the ability to you know, come to common ground and collaborate, find something to do together.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's truly where it's all about. If you don't mind me asking, I like to ask all our guests this, Bob. Best and worst part about working in the pandemic age? Because frankly, although things are getting better, I think it's a reality we're all going to be with for a long, long time.
You know, certainly the worst thing is that it's almost impossible to do anything. That it makes it very difficult to pull anything off, and particularly, you know, when you need to have income as a requirement to do that. The only good thing about it maybe is that it's inspired me, and I think a lot of other people, to figure out ways of working that somehow overcome that obstacle of you know, at times not even being able to get together. I feel like you can even safely be face to face with each other. I bought myself an interface and reached out to friends to see if I could get some donated equipment to get a home recording studio going, and ended up with enough to get started, do a few tracks, and then that inspired me to do this Lotteria project, which helped me reach out to some other people who lent me some more equipment, and that led to some paying sessions. I've now returned some of the loan equipment and bought my own, and just kind of built up some capacity to work collectively that I didn't have before. And now I'm able to do kind of virtual bands with a friend of mine in Chile, that we had kind of always felt like we should have the opportunity to work together, and now we kind of do. I've been talking to Mike Watt about a couple of different things that we have in mind to do with different people that are now possible to do just for the fact that we have this remote capability now that we can work together on things, and it just kind of gives me the chance to expand a little bit, to change my focus a little bit, and not so much be running out to clubs at night, but still working on music and having the chance to think about things and do things creatively, and hopefully contributing to recordings, making a lasting contribution that'll be remembered after the gig has passed.
Yeah, Watt actually mentioned doing another opera with the Black Gang. At the show that when we had him on the Sunday Spin, Bob. So,
well, if he's talking publicly about it, that's a good sign to me.
Right, absolutely.
I have to take a wait and see approach to any of this stuff, because there's always a possibility that something else is going to happen, or that things don't always evolve the way we expect them to. There's a Black Gang album in the can.
Yeah, I know.
So he's spoken publicly about this too. Yeah, that just has not come out. And from my last conversation with him, I don't think there's an appetite for it to come out. I think he's like, oh man, that was in my 40s then. Well, so I don't know. There maybe we can squeeze some instrumentals or something out of it, because Nels Klein played his ass off on that, and it's just kind of killing me that I have this great performance with him in the can that no one's ever going to get to hear if we don't do something about that. But that's such is life. He pays your money and he takes your chance. Almost that same month, I made an album with Backbiter that also has never come out.
Oh wow!
This is 14 years ago now.
There's going to be the Bob Lee unreleased anthology series with some of these records.
I was telling both of them we needed to have a 10th anniversary issue.
Yeah,
not a reissue, but
Black Gang for me. I mean, you are three of my favorite all-time musicians working together in one project, Bob. And to me, it's just like, oh man, I want to hear that record. And then to have Watt come on the show and tell us that they're potentially. Because I asked him, about working with you and working with Nels, and yeah, he expressed that, how it was almost a 2-hour show with Watt, and we just let Watt do his thing because that's Watt. And but yeah, he did mention that, so we're really excited about that prospect as well. But like you said, Bob, him mentioning it publicly, and yeah, so we're. What about? Was there some great unreleased Clawhammer album too that we've never heard?
No, God, I wish. There's, Clawhammer came to an end in roughly the year 2000, but after kind of foundering for about 2.5 years after we got dropped from Interscope, there hadn't really been a contingency plan of what to do next, and I think we were a little bit unmoored, and John was probably ready for it to be over, and for some reason not wanting to call it off, and we just sort of existed in that state for a little while. We went over a year without any new songs. I think we went over 2 years without any new songs, and that was kind of at the point at which maybe the second anniversary of that I sort of realized, I don't think this is gonna go on. And really, what ended up being the next Clawhammer thing, or the next thing from John, was John Wall and the Amadons.
Yeah,
which was the trio with Steve Reed and myself that started recording pretty much as soon as Clawhammer called it a day around 2000. Very different, very stylistically different, very emotionally and tonally different. Probably not, the same audience.
Yeah, even the way John sang was different. John, some of the way he sang, it was different as well. Great songwriter too. If people don't know Clawhammer, by the way, vastly underrated band and a fiercely live band. Saw you guys live maybe 5-6 times over the span of 94 to 98 maybe. I'm including, and Bob, I got a chance to meet you, and let's just move this comment in right here from our friend Kevin Chanel.
Oh, there's Kevin. Right.
I met you through Kevin at the Bottom of the Hill show, Clawhammer show, and you were as gracious as ever, of course. And yeah, Kevin wanted to shout out to you and say what's up. Do you remember the legendary Zeros tour with your bandmates?
I remember it well, and have been reminiscing about that a lot recently because I'm just beginning tomorrow a new phase of Christmas shows backing up Elvez for his Christmas pageants.
Kevin's cousin.
And member of the Zeros, and remembering that Robert and I have been on stage before. The last night of that tour in Victoria, I got on stage and played the song Roadrunner with them, and Baba, their drummer, came out front to sing it. And that was that was kind of crazy night. I think we all were on stage with each other's bands at different times, and enjoyed that tour. Enjoyed Kevin and Baba a lot. They were trying to get me to leave the Clawhammer entourage and go with them to a baseball game. And
sounds like Kevin.
Being that at the show that we were at, like 2 of the band hadn't made it. They were very reluctant to let me go run off with anybody else. So I did not in fact get to go to a baseball game with the guys in the Zeros, but wish I had done that.
Yeah, well, Kevin
said they did make it to the next show. It would have been okay.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Bob, do we want to let's delve into some more music? We've been so busy.
Probably better play something else. I know one of the tracks I sent you was Kurt Stifle in the Swing Shift, and I'll just talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Kurt Schellenbach, the ex guitar player for the Nip Drivers, hit me up a couple of years ago to record some stuff with him. And that's Steve Reed on bass. And Matt Lake from the Black Widows on guitar.
Okay.
Along with Kurt. And I finished an album that's out, and then this track that I've sent you is a new mix from an album that's kind of in process. The song's called "Happy to Help," and we'll see what form this eventually takes for release, but hopefully something will come of it sooner than later.
Absolutely. Sounds good. All right. Sunday Spin exclusive. We're hanging with Bob Lee, and this is a tune called Happy to Help.
I'm happy to help. Always happy.
Happy to help. Rock and roll exclusive on the Sunday Spin. Hanging with Bob Lee. Bob, thanks for joining us. We want to thank all of our friends, family, and viewers for tuning in to our very special 50th episode today. Can't believe we made it this far, Vinny.
Yeah, it seems like only last week we were talking about episode 49, doesn't it? But seriously, it's been a lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of great people. This week was no exception. Bob, thank you so much for your time.
Congratulations on number 50. I'm glad to be part of an anniversary episode, and thank you so much for having me.
And one more thing, we definitely want to have you back, Bob. We have an open door policy here. We'd love to have you back so we can talk about next year and where things are headed.
Well, I'll be around, and hopefully we'll have something to announce fairly shortly in regard to new music happening.
Fantastic.
You want to talk a little bit? I want to hear a little bit about that track before we go too, because I was really digging that. Now, is that released already, Bob? Or
the Kurt Stifle thing?
Yes,
it's not released yet. It was recorded at Kitten Robot by Paul Rossler and mixed by a guy named Frank Rosato. And we have, I would say, an album's worth of stuff in the can right now. That is kind of being finalized pretty gradually, and hopefully will come out. Will find its way out before long. It's an entirely independent project on Kurt's part, so I know he's hoping to get something happening with it and to see it come to its completion and realization. So I hope so too. I think it's the album we made and then this one is as well are fairly difficult to categorize stylistically, which I think is makes the things difficult in terms of promoting or bringing attention to projects. But to the extent that that's a strength musically, it doesn't bother me at all.
Great answer. Sunday Spin, man, we did it right with episode 50. The one and only Bob Lee. Bob, you want to do any shout outs to any of your pals or anything? I know earlier you gave some respectful shout outs to folks in Backbiter and folks that showed up last night. Anyone else you want to say hey to before we go?
Oh boy, I'm afraid to start making a list because I'm gonna forget someone who will feel badly about it. There's so many. I would be remiss not to mention John Collinson, who's been my partner in Santa Sabbath and Josie Records, which we put out a Christmas comp a couple of years ago called Something Shocking from the Stocking, which had Santa Sabbath, but also a lot of other bands from this scene. A lot of the people who were in Lotteria were a part of that too. The Icy Hawks and the Double Knot and Black Widows, all these groups, contributed tracks for, I just said, will you write us a Christmas song? And did, along with the Darts and Schizophonics. And that was just kind of an idea that I had that John has helped me bring to fruition in a production sense, as well as, Santa Sabbath itself. I just used to like to have a punk rock cover band where I could say, let's do some songs and I'll take the mic. And John was part of that, and then that morphed into Santa Sabbath about probably 10 years ago, and he's been the producer of our albums and enabled the artwork to be made and releases to happen. So I think John is a big cornerstone and partner of mine, and but all of the people that I work with, Jonathan Hall last night, 30 years at Backbiter and the other different things that we've done together, including Freaks. He's been a consistent partner and just somebody that I know will always be good to work with, as well as bring the rock. And I feel very fortunate to have worked with the people that I've worked with. Every band, just a blessing in a number of ways. Mike Watt has been terrific to work with, and certainly no surprise that that's some of the most well-known work that I've done, and the things that has gotten out to the public the most. And just through that, having the opportunity to work with him has led to a lot of other things. So I'm just grateful for taking a shot on me when I first got here and asked them for rides, and can you take me and my crappy bass drum with the snare drum inside it and one cymbal to practice this weekend, and actually find a way to make that work, and feel that was actually the right drummer for their band, and work. Hopefully, we've taken it up a couple notches from there since. But I'm very grateful for all of it, and all the people that I've worked with. If I haven't mentioned them here or enumerated them, they're should know they're in my thoughts.
Awesome. Well, Bob, we want to thank you for all the great music that you've given us. About 3 decades now. Amazing. And just keep doing it, man. We really appreciate your time today, and it means a lot to us for you to be on our 50th show. So why don't we end the show with the Dasher Forever tune? We can go ahead and kind of segue out. We can do our thing and go on our way, but we can go ahead and play one more tune. I don't see why. It's the Christmas spirit, right, Bob? So
and then Santa Sabbath to send us out.
Exactly. Now, Bob, are you on vocals on this, or?
I'm singing on this. John Collinson on drums, Jonathan Hall on guitar, and Pat Howitt on bass.
Oh, man, that's great. Okay. Let's do it. Well, again, you guys, thanks again. Sunday Spin. We'll be back next week with our final show of season 3. It's going to be a reflective look back at season 3. What an epic one it was. Bob Lee, Dave Markey, Mike Watt. The names go on and on. So thank you guys so much. Sunday Spin each and every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific. Shout out to our friend Kevin Chanel at Groove Records, San Francisco. What's Left Records, Ostro Brothers, Colorado Springs, holding it down. And yeah, let's get Christmassy here. This is Santa Sabbath with Bob Lee on the vocals, a tune called Dasher Forever. We'll see you guys next week. Keep it rocking like we always do for the Sunday Spin. All right. Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.
Have you ever thought about testing God, but he isn't real? Kids who leave cookies out think you know the deal. You think somebody that you out to get them reach for the